I don't think there's been a moment as dangerous as this since the Second World War.
Noam Chomsky, 93 jaar en scherp over de oorlog in Oekraïne.
Putin gave the United States the most marvelous gift it could ever imagine. All through the Cold War, there has been a conflict over the status of Europe. Putin settled it. He gave it to the United States. He said, Europe is totally in your pocket. Not only natural gas, but expanding NATO, more military expenses. I mean, apart from the criminality of the invasion, it was an act of unbelievable stupidity.
Chomsky, wereldberoemd taalkundige, bekend van de boomstructuren in de grammatica. Chomsky, beroemd als criticus van Amerika. 93 en nog altijd prof. Vroeger aan het beroemde MIT in Boston, nu aan de Universiteit van Arizona. De gruwel in Oekraïne, zegt Chomsky, is helaas niet uitzonderlijk.
Remember that when we leave the United States and Europe, the world looks very different. Just take a look at countries that are imposing sanctions. It's the Anglosphere, the English-speaking countries, Western Europe, Japanese. For the majority of the world is sitting on the sidelines. They're very used to atrocities, and they are taking a rather neutral stand. They cannot get excited about the fact that Americans and Europeans are professing enormous moral outrage. Well, a couple of years ago, they were praising the invasion of Iraq as an enormous success with noble intentions.
Wat gaat er gebeuren met Poetin? Wat zal er gebeuren in Rusland? Niemand kan het voorspellen, zegt Chomsky.
The United States is offering Putin no escape. It's saying, you're finished, you're going to go for a war crimes trial, no options. What does that tell Putin to do? It tells him to maximize the destruction, since there's no alternative. The sensible alternative would be to move towards some form of negotiated settlement, which will offer Putin some kind of an escape, or else destroy Ukraine, maybe move on to a terminal nuclear war. Those are the actual choices.
Are you still afraid that the conflict could escalate towards a nuclear clash?
We're very close. Every specialist on the topic is talking about it. Right now in the United States, if you listen to Congress, you can hear an array of total lunatics calling for a no-fly zone. Fortunately, they're being vetoed by the Pentagon. The Pentagon is the peacekeeping force in the United States. The Pentagon understands that if you establish a no-fly zone, you have to attack Russian anti-aircraft installations inside Russia. Then what happens? What are your heroic statements then?
Intussen beleeft de wapenindustrie gouden tijden, nu defensiebudgetten weer overal stijgen door de oorlog. Voor vele anderen is de oorlog in Oekraïne ronduit rampzalig, zegt Chomsky.
This is a complete disaster for the global South. Europe and the United States can handle it. They're rich countries. They can work it out somehow. There'll be some degree of suffering, but not much. But go to the Middle East. Take Yemen, the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. About 40% of their food comes from Russia and Ukraine. They're already at the brink of massive starvation. What's going to happen to them? And incidentally, this is also true of Egypt, much of the Middle East, and South Asia. It's an utter catastrophe for them. And there's another catastrophe. What's causing euphoria in the offices of ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, Royal Dutch Shell, they're no longer being criticized by environmentalists. Now they're being loved as the saviors of civilization by given carte blanche to race as fast as possible towards destruction of the possibility of human life on Earth.
You're 93 years old. Do you find any joy in the world as you look at it?
Sure, lots of joy. There are a lot of beautiful things in the world, but we could make it a much better world. The choice is in our hands. We do have that opportunity. We're losing it. We're giving it away, but we don't have to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chomsky, for granting us
Thank
this
you very
interview.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.